Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another English class here on verbling.com. My name is Lisa. I'm one of the English teachers here at Verbling, and in this hour we're going to be having a reading class, and I put the link up already, so if you go over there you can click on it, and that's the article in a Google Doc format, and I will also put it up in the group chat when people join here because oh, the Verbling chat. Oh, maybe it's working. I don't know. Hi, Amparo.
Hi, teacher. How are you?
Good. Hey, is your Verbling chat working?
I don't know yet. It's still loading.
Still loading. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it
In
on
the
this
class
side.
before, it was working, but I
Oh,
can see
okay.
your document.
You can
I
see
can
it.
see, yeah,
Okay.
the
Okay.
message.
Good. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's working.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yay. Okay. So we can use the Verbling chat as long as it works
It
for
works.
everybody today. Yeah. Good. Well, it's funny because it said not chat not loaded or something, and then I just pasted the link in, and then it worked. So
Yeah, but it's something weird because if
yeah.
you go to Berlin
Hmm.
website, you
Yeah.
cannot see the messages. And in
Oh.
Berlin website, I can see Hamid messages, and I
Yeah.
cannot see inside the class.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. That's true too. The
Yeah.
ones that are being posted before the class starts or something. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's happening. Okay. All right. Asma, you're back. Asma, your day of English.
Yeah, and nice to see you again, teacher.
All right. Good to see you. And Hamid, you're back.
Yes,
All right. Good. Okay.
and
Well, let's
we can
just.
use the verbling chat, I
Yes,
think.
I think so. Finally, yes, we can. I can see everybody writing in the Verbling chat. Good. Is it working for you too, Asma? The Verbling chat?
Chat box.
Is the Verbling chat working or just the group chat?
No, the group chat only.
Oh, no. Okay, well, we can use that. That's okay. There we are. We have lots of flexibility here. We can do many things. So, okay, guys. Well, let's just wait a second and see if some other people join us. Okay, like Moises is joining us, and Hyri. Hi, guys. Hi, Moises.
Hi.
Welcome. Moises, is that you with your kids?
Yes,
Nice. Where? Where's the picture taken?
it's in the coast, the north of Spain, in the coast
Mm.
of the north of Spain.
Aha. Nice. Was that in the summer or was that recently?
That was in the summer.
Yeah, okay, because probably cold right now.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and let's see, Hyri.
Hi.
Hi. Hyri, where are you calling from?
I'm from South Korea.
South Korea. Okay, wonderful. What time is it there?
Um, I think, well,
Are you in South Korea right now?
no.
Oh, you're not. Okay. Where are you now?
I'm in the US right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because South Korea would be pretty early. Yeah, early morning.
I think 2
Uh,
a.m. there, yeah, anyway.
yeah. What? Where are you in the U.S.?
Georgia?
Georgia. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting. Studying there at the university or what?
Oh, yes. I go to school here.
Uh-huh. Great. How's the weather right now in Georgia?
Recently it was really cold, like freezing,
Yeah.
but today it's okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, usually it doesn't get so cold, I think,
right.
in Georgia. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I'm in the United States too. I'm in the state of Washington, so kind of pretty far away from where you are, on the West
Washington? Or
Coast.
Washington, D.C.?
No, Washington State.
State,
So
okay. The
kind of
West Coast, isn't it?
the West Coast. That's right. Uh-huh.
Near Oregon?
Yep, just above Oregon, just north of Oregon, and just south of Canada.
Yeah, I went to Oregon, yeah, so I
Oh, you
don't know.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Did you go to Portland? Oregon?
Oh yes, I went there.
Nice.
It's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Portland's really nice. That's about 4 hours south from where I
Oh,
live. Yeah,
okay.
by car.
How's the weather like there?
It's pretty good. It's not too cold. It's
Oh, not too cold. Okay.
not too cold. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Sergio.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, everyone.
Welcome. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. I've been posting the link in the group chat so people can go there to find it. We're going to read this article here that Amparo suggested for us, which is about the article is called The Inspirational Tech Guru Who's Owning Cerebral Palsy Like a Boss. So that's a funny title there. If you guys know the term like a boss, it just means when you do something like a boss, it means like an expert, like an awesome person, like you're doing something really well. So if you say, you know, you played like a boss, then it means you did really well. Okay, so that's a funny, very kind of young kind of way of talking about it. So she's a young gal, and she has cerebral palsy. So that's a problem that some people have, and you know, it's something to overcome. So she's doing that. So we're going to read. That's a picture of her. Let's see, I didn't look through all these pictures, but here's some other pictures of her, and so we're going to read her story. Okay. All right, so you can either open the document here, the Google Drive document, or you can just read along as I post it in my screen share here, but you have to click on me to be able to do that. And welcome, Rafa. Hi, Rafa.
Hi. Sorry for that.
Okay, so we'll do the way we always do it, where I read a little bit out loud at a time, and then everybody will have a chance to read out loud. I'll have to try to make sure I give everybody enough to read. It's not a super long article, so break it up. Okay, so the inspirational tech guru. Guru just means like a teacher, you know, or somebody who's like an expert in something, who's owning cerebral palsy like a boss. So to own something means to take, to be responsible for it, to do well. So to own something like a boss means she's dealing, the sense is that she's dealing with her illness, her cerebral palsy, in a really great way. That's what it means. She's owning it. She's not being afraid of it. She's not just staying in her bedroom and feeling sorry for herself. She's really going out there and, you know, overcoming this disability in a really amazing way. Okay, that's kind of the sense that you get from that, to own. You know, she owns it. It means she's, you know, it's really doing well. All right, disability doesn't mean disadvantage, and Farida Bedway, a celebrated software engineer from Ghana, is proof of that. Born in 1979, Bedway was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at the age of 1. Cerebral palsy is an incurable neurological disorder that affects body movement and muscle coordination, but does not interfere with the ability to learn. Okay. Amparo, why don't we start off with you?
Okay. Disability doesn't mean disadvantage. And Farida Bedway, a celebrated software engineer from Ghana, is proof of that. Born in 1979, Bedway was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at the age of 1. Cerebral palsy is an incurable neurological disorder that affects body movement and muscle coordination, but does not interfere with the ability to learn.
Okay, good. All right, disability doesn't mean disadvantage. So in English, when we talk about disabilities, it could be a lot of different things. You can have like a physical disability where you're not able to do something because of your body, you know, or it could be like a learning disability. Maybe you have trouble learning how to read, or you know, something like that, dyslexia or something. But it doesn't have to be a disadvantage. So it doesn't have to be something. That's what this sentence means. A disadvantage is something that makes it harder for you, or like a drawback or something. So just the meaning of it is, just because you have a disability doesn't mean you can't succeed in something. So it doesn't have to be a disadvantage to you. Maybe it could be an advantage, actually. All right, so a celebrated software engineer means a famous or a well-known, or just people know her. That's what it means. She's a celebrated software engineer. So people know of her. She's been doing good work, that kind of thing. So you can be a celebrated anything, like in your line of work or something like that. You could be like a celebrated scientist, a celebrated engineer, musician, something like that. All right, so she's from Ghana, and this she is proof of that, is what it really means here. She, Farida, is proof of that, of this right here. So she is providing proof that just because you have a disability doesn't mean you can't succeed. Okay, that's what they're saying there. All right, so she was diagnosed with, so just pointing out the preposition there, you get diagnosed with some type of illness or problem. So at the age of 1, it's an incurable, so you cannot cure cerebral palsy. It's a neurological disorder, neurological having to do with your nerves, nervous system, your brain. And it's a disorder. That's another word that we use to describe, like, you know, it's a problem. So it's a neurological problem, it's a neurological issue, and it affects how your body moves. So body movement and your muscle coordination. So your coordination is talking about, you know, can you throw a ball? Can you hit a ball with a tennis racket? Can you, you know, move up and down? Can you do things with your muscles in a coordinated way so that, you know, your brain is telling your muscles what to do, and they just do them. So that's the problem with cerebral palsy, is a lot of times your muscles are not working in a coordinated way, so you don't have as much control over your muscles and your arms and things like that. Okay, but it doesn't interfere with. So to interfere with would mean like it would stop you from learning, but it doesn't do that. So she still has the ability to learn. So her brain can learn things, she can do things. It's just her physical body sometimes can't move in normal ways. Bedway has steadfastly refused to let her disability affect her career trajectory. Today, as the co-founder and chief technical officer of software company Logiciel, she is considered one of the most powerful women in financial technology on the continent. In 2013, South Africa's CEO magazine named Bedway the most influential woman in business and government in Africa for the financial sector. Okay, Asma.
Bedouin has steadfastly refused to let her disability affect her career trajectory. Today, as the co-founder and chief technical officer of software company Logiciel, she is considered one of the most powerful women in financial technology on the continent. In 2013, South Africa's CEO magazine named Bedawi the most influential woman in business and government in Africa for the financial sector.
Good way. Okay, so I'm going to point this out. So has refused. Okay. So this is the adverb describing how she has refused. So the verb is to refuse, and so to refuse to let your disability affect you means you say no. Like to refuse something is to say no. So I'm not going to let this disability affect me. That's what she's saying. And the word steadfastly means kind of like she consistently refuses, or unwaveringly, or firm. So she's very firm in her refusal to let this disability affect her. So it's a word to describe that she's very consistent and confident about this. So she does not let her disability affect her career trajectory. Your trajectory is like the future. So the future of her career, or how her career is going to be for her, she's not limiting herself. That's kind of the idea here. So, you know, if you have cerebral palsy, you could think to yourself, you know, maybe I'll be able to get a job, but I'll only be able to do this. But she's not thinking that way. She's refusing to let that thinking, you know, about her disability get in her way. So your career trajectory is like, how do you see yourself in the future? So she's not limiting herself. That's the main idea there. She's the co-founder, so you know she's doing things that maybe even people who don't have cerebral palsy don't even do. Not everybody co-founds a business, you know, that kind of thing. So she's co-founding, which means she's working with somebody else or maybe some other people to found a business, and she's the chief technical officer. So that's a high up kind of managerial boss kind of position in a software company. She is considered, that means people think of her as one of the most powerful women in the financial technology sector. So having to do with banks and money and things like that. That's what financial technology would be on the continent of Africa. And so she was named. So when an organization or a magazine, a newspaper, when they name somebody something, that means they're giving like a recognition. And so sometimes you're named, you know, like the most influential person or the best dressed or, you know, something like that. So they're calling her the most influential woman in business and government in Africa in terms of related to the financial sector. So that's, you know, that would be kind of like a high recognition for anybody, and she's doing it even with this particular disability. Her greatest achievement, Bedway says, is the development of a cloud software platform that is being used by 130 microfinance companies nationwide. These institutions administer loans to their customers by sending a code to their mobile phones via SMS. That code can be exchanged for money at any branch, making small loans available immediately. Wow, okay, that's cool.
Her greatest achievement, Bedway says, is the development of a cloud software platform that is being used by 130 microfinance companies nationwide. These institutions administer loans to their customers by sending a code to their mobile phones via SMS. That code can be exchanged for money at any branch, making small loans available immediately.
Okay, so her greatest achievement, so the thing that she's done so far that she's the most proud of is this development of a cloud software platform. So I think everybody's familiar with the idea of things being in the cloud. So they're not on your desktop or on your laptop on your hard drive, but they're in this what we call the cloud, which is like the internet, the servers around the world, different parts. So she's working on that, and what it allows them to do is these microfinance companies throughout the nation, so nationwide means throughout the country, and micro here means small amounts of money. So these companies give small loans. To administer means to give. So they give these small loans, small amounts of money to their customers, and it's pretty cool. You just send a code to their mobile phone, and then they can exchange, which means just to change. You know, you give them the code, they give you your money at any branch. A branch of a bank is like different locations. So you can go to any branch or any location and give them your code, and then they give you your small loan. So it's making these small loans available. So to make something available means it's ready, so you can just get it right now, and it says immediately. So if a small, you know, a company or a person needs a small loan, they can do it quickly. Here, Bedway reveals how tech can transform lives and how she defied the odds to find success. Create an education plan that works for you. Bedway lived a nomadic childhood thanks to her father's role at the United Nations Development Program. As a result, the family resided in Dominica, Grenada, and the United Kingdom before finally settling in Ghana when Bedway was 9 years old. Okay, hi Ray.
Do I have to read from
Yes.
where?
Yeah, read from here to there.
Okay. Here, Badway reveals how tech can transform lives and how she defined the odds to find success. Create an education plan that works for you. Badway lived a nomadic childhood thanks to her father's role at the United Nations Development Program. As a result, the family resided in Dominica, Grenada, and the United Kingdom before finally settling in Ghana when Badway was 9 years old.
Okay, to reveal means to tell or to show. So she reveals how tech, short for technology, can transform lives, can change people's lives. Usually in a good way. When we use the word transform, usually means in a good way. And she also shows how she defied the odds. So the expression is to defy the odds. It means to go against what you think would be, would happen to you. So the odds were against her, meaning she didn't, if you have cerebral palsy, a lot of people think that you're not probably going to even have a career or that you're not going to have a successful life because you have this disability. But she defied the odds. So anytime you have some kind of perhaps problem or something and then you overcome that problem, we use the expression to defy the odds. So she was able to defy the odds and find success. All right, so she had an education plan. All right, so what happened was she was living a nomadic childhood. So nomadic is when you move around a lot. So it used to be in the old days, maybe nomadic tribes would travel around, Africa or Mongolia or somewhere like that, living in different places. But modern day nomads are people who, for their jobs, have to live in different countries or different cities, things like that. Also, people nowadays choose to be nomadic. Like if you can work, like a Verbling teacher, for example, could be having a nomadic lifestyle because all we need is a computer and an internet connection to work. So that's another word that's being used a lot these days, actually, to talk about people who move around the world, living in different places. So because her father, his role, his job at the United Nations, they had to live in these different countries. So they resided in or lived in some different countries before finally settling in Ghana. So when you settle, that's kind of where you stay now. You're no longer moving around. So she settled in Ghana when she was 9 years old. Bedway was homeschooled until the age of 12 and then continued her education at a government school where she was able to socialize with other children. Her family noticed her passion for computers, so it was decided for Bedway to skip senior high school and enroll in a one-year computer course at the St. Michael Information Technology Center. At 15 years old, she was one of the youngest in the class. A challenge, perhaps, but one she took in her stride. Okay, Moises.
Bedway was homeschooled until the age of 12 and then continued her education at a government school where she was able to socialize with other children. Her family noticed her passion for computers, so it was decided for Bedway to skip senior high school and enroll in one-year computer course at the St. Michael Information Technology Center. At 15 years old, she was one of the youngest in the class. A challenge, perhaps, but one she took in her stride.
Okay, good. So she was homeschooled, which means she was educated at home, maybe by her parents, maybe by some tutors or some other teachers, maybe learning on her own, that kind of idea. Means a lot of different things. It just means she wasn't going to a school. And then she continued her education, so she continued by going to a government school in order to socialize. To socialize just means to be around other people, have the opportunity to make friends, work with other people, that kind of thing. But they noticed, so to notice means to kind of like to see. So they saw that she had a passion for computers, and so they decided to have her skip senior high school. So senior high school would be this idea of 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, and usually you enter high school when you're 14 or so. So she was going to just skip that, and so instead they enrolled her in. So you enroll in a school or a program or a course or something like that. So she took a 1-year computer course, and she was one of the youngest in the class. A challenge. Remember, she has cerebral palsy. That would be a challenge for any 15-year-old, actually, to go to a higher level computer course. But it says a challenge, that means one. So, but she took this challenge in her stride. So in stride means, it wasn't a big deal for her. That's what it means. She just did it like as she does everything. So she put in her time and her effort, and it wasn't a big deal. So to take something in stride means that you just do it. You don't think that it's a big deal, and you just do what you got to do. I'm sure most of my classmates were wondering what I was doing with them, and that is how I started my career as a software engineer, because through that course I realized what aspect of IT I was going to specialize in. I love the idea of solving problems and creating things, she says. Found your dream job? Fight for it. Following her that's kind of like a subheading, actually. Following her graduation, the passionate programmer began looking for work and found her dream role at Soft, a premier software company in the region. Okay, Sergio. Oh no, Rafa.
Yeah. I'm sure most of my classmates were wondering what I was doing with them. And that is how I started my career as a software engineer, because through that course I realized what aspect of IT I was going to specialize in. I loved the idea of solving problems and creating things, she says. Found your dream job? Fight for it. Following her graduation, the passionate programmer began looking for work and found her dream role at Soft, a premier software company in the region.
In the region. Good. All right, so your classmates are the people taking the class with you, people in your class. She says, I'm sure they were wondering. So to wonder means to think, to ask yourself. And so she's thinking like they were probably thinking to themselves, what is she doing in here? She has cerebral palsy and she's only 15 years old. So what is she doing in here? But that's how she started her career, because during that course, you could say, she realized, so she came to understand, or she discovered what aspect of IT. So IT, information technology, and they have different aspects of it. So lots of different types of jobs within the IT sector is what you could say. So what aspect, what area of IT did she want to specialize in? So people specialize in different areas or different aspects of information technology, and so she really liked solving problems and creating things, so being creative. All right, if you have to fight for your job, so if you find your dream job, this is what it means, then fight for it. You have to go for it is what that means. So following her graduation, that means after she graduated, she became this passionate programmer, and she started looking for work. So you're out there looking for a job, and she found her dream role, so her dream job at Soft. That's the name of the company. And when we say premier, it just means like top, one of the top companies in her region where she was looking in the area. She recalls, I went and saw the head of the technical division and told him I want a job here. I don't have any experience, but I'm inspired to learn. If you give me the chance, I promise you that you'll never regret it. So he said, okay, fine, come and join. That's pretty lucky. Okay, let's see. Know when you need to move on. So that's another subheading here. 3 years later, Bedway was on the move again and soon found work as a senior software architect at Rancard Solutions. Okay, Sergio.
Okay. She recalls, I went and saw the head of the technical division and told him, I want a job here. I don't have any experience, but I'm inspired to learn. If you give me the chance, I promise you that we will never regret it. So he said, okay, fine, come enjoy. I love it. Know when you need to move on. Three years later, Bedway was on the move again and soon found work as a senior software architect at Handicap Solutions. I was with them for 9 years.
Oh wait, hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so she recalls. That is just another way of saying, like, when somebody tells you about something that they remember, they're recalling it. So it's a past memory or story that they want to tell you. You could also say she remembers, or she tells us about a time, something like that. So she went and saw. Okay, so if you're paying attention to the verb tenses, this is the past. So even though it's pretty simple, a lot of people still say I go and the see. So I went and saw the head. So the head is the boss. So like the main person you want to talk to when you get a job. And she just told him, I want a job here. I have no experience. I'm inspired to learn. So inspired. She's internally motivated. She's going to learn. And she just needs a chance. So she says, if you give me the chance, I promise you'll never regret it. You will never regret it. So she's asking for the chance. And he says, okay, all right. So he says, come and join us in our company. All right, so then she was on the move again. So on the move means she's looking for another job. So sometimes you start with one job and then you want to do something else, go somewhere else. So you're on the move looking for another job. And then so she found this job as a senior software architect, so building things, programs, so engineer, at this other company, Rancard Solutions. I was with them for 9 years. For the first 3 years of my stay with them, I was actually going to school part-time. I already had a diploma in information systems, but I wanted something else to add to it. I was doing a diploma in e-technology. That is the web industry, because I realized that was the way the industry was going. Okay, Amparo.
I was with them for 9 years. For the first 3 years of my stay with them, I was actually going to school part-time. I already had a diploma in information systems, but I wanted something else to add to it. I was doing a diploma in e-technology, that is the web industry, because I realized that was the way the industry was going.
Okay. All right. So with them, so this is how we talk about jobs. Like when you're with a company, you can say them. You know, she's talking about the company. Let's see. Her stay. So that's talking about while she was there. She was going to school part-time. So that usually means maybe 1 or 2 classes at a time versus full-time. She had a diploma. So she already had. It's not a degree. It's like a certificate that says you've done certain courses or something like that. And so she was also getting another diploma in e-technology. So the internet is really where she was realizing the way the industry was going. So she was looking ahead to see, you know, where is this industry, the IT industry, and she realized it was going to be, you know, on the web or on the internet. After that diploma, I wanted to get a degree because I had 2 diplomas and no degree. And in Ghana, a degree is what counts. Okay, another little phrase here. Don't be afraid to go it alone if you see a gap in the market. After completing a 1-year degree at the University of Hertfordshire in England, Bedway returned home with a degree in computer science and continued working for Rankard. Okay, Asma.
After the diploma, I wanted to get a degree because I had 2 diplomas and no degree. And in Ghana, a degree is what counts. Don't be afraid to go it alone if you see a gap in the market. After completing a 1-year degree at the University of Hertfordshire in England, Bedoui returned home with a degree in computer science and continued working for Rankard.
Okay. So a degree, in this article, a degree is different than a diploma. Usually a diploma is often, in the United States, we might say more like a certificate or something. Like if you went and you learned some kind of vocational skills or technical skills, you didn't go through a full college degree program, but you just took some courses and then you get a diploma. So it certifies that you know how to do specific things like related to technology, for example. But when you get a degree, that's a kind of a more in-depth program where you're learning more things. And then here in the United States, you would only get a degree if you went to a college or a university. So she says a degree is what counts. So something that counts is what's important. That's what she means. So even though she was already doing well and she had jobs and stuff, she really wanted a degree because that's what's important in Ghana. That's what counts. Okay, the subheading here, don't be afraid to go it alone. Go it alone means to do it alone. You know, if you have to do something and it's going to be by yourself, go ahead and do it. Don't be afraid if you see a gap in the market. So in talking about the market, if you're talking about internet technology or IT, informational technology, if you see a gap, that means something that's missing. There's a gap. There's something missing in this market, and I can fill it. That's how we talk about it. I can fill the gap. I can do this job that nobody is doing yet. So that's kind of the language there about the gap in the market. So she went and got her degree, came home, and continued working for the same company. In 2010, she joined G Life Financial Services. That's redundant there. The system the company adopted wasn't efficient for microfinancing. So with Derek Denke, a fellow colleague at the company, they started building their own cloud software platform called Gikudi. It's helping the microfinancing industry in this country, she says. Okay, Hamid.
In 2010, she joined G Life Financial Services. The system the company adopted wasn't efficient for microfinancing. So with Derek Denke, a fellow colleague at the company, they started building their own cloud software platform called Gikudi. It is helping the microfinancing industry in this country, she says.
Okay, so to join means you start working with them. So if you join a company, you're saying I started working for them or with them. All right, the system that they adopted, so when you adopt a certain technology or something, it means you start using it. So the system that they had used or that they were using was not efficient, wasn't working well for microfinancing. Again, small amounts of money, small loans, micro versus macro, which would be larger. All right, so they started to build. So in software, you talk about building a platform, so a kind of a format that you can use, and they gave it this name, and it's to help, specifically to help the microfinancing industry. It's helping them make valid decisions on what to do. It's helping them cut out fraud, and it's helping them give loans to people who need loans. Disability doesn't need to stop you achieving success. Along with her business achievements, Bedway prides herself on inspiring others through organizations like the Girls in ICT Committee, a group established to encourage more women to pursue IT careers. Okay, Irene.
It's helping them make make valid decisions on what to do. It's helping them cut off fraud, and it's helping them give loans to people who need loans. Disability doesn't need to stop you achieving success. Along with her business achievements, Badway prides herself on inspiring others through organizations like the Girls in ICT Committee, a group established to encourage more women to pursue IT careers.
Okay. All right, so to make valid decisions, so this is a good thing to pay attention to. We make decisions. Sometimes people say take decisions, but really the proper way to say it is to make a decision. So a bank who wants to loan somebody some money has to make a decision about whether or not they're going to do it. And to make a valid one means one that works, one that is appropriate. So it has to be valid based on some real information, so you make a decision about what to do that's valid, meaning based is a good decision based on good information, and it's also helping them cut out. So to cut out means to stop here. So in this case, they're trying to stop fraud, which is when it's an illegal thing to try to get money illegally. So that's fraud. So they're trying to stop fraud and also to help give loans to the people who need the loans, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But so they're small, maybe farmers, people like that, small business people who need small loans. So not huge amounts of money, maybe just several $100s or something like that even. Okay, so disability doesn't need to stop you achieving success, so becoming successful. She prides herself on. So to pride yourself means you're proud of. So she's also proud not just of her business success, the things that she's been able to do, but also she likes to inspire others, especially girls. So she established this group to encourage more women to pursue IT careers. So if you encourage somebody to do something, it means you give them support, you give them encouragement, you say, yeah, you can do this, I'm going to help you. And so she would like more women to pursue, means to go after, to try to become, like another software engineer or something. So to pursue a career means to do it. You're trying to do that. She says, I am a role model for a lot of children with disabilities. So it's very important for me to showcase to the world that, yes, you can have a disabled child and it's not the end of the world. There is so much that child can end up doing given the right resources. Okay. Moises.
She says, I am a role model for a lot of children with disabilities, so it's very important for me to showcase to the world that, yes, you can have a disabled child, and it's not the end of the world. There is so much that child can end up doing given the right resources.
Okay, good. All right, so somebody is a role model for other people. That just means the other people, oftentimes children, but even adults, you look up to. We say you look up to a role model. They're showing you the way. So she's showing the way for children who have disabilities, but also for parents to show them that even if your child does have a disability, that's not the end of the world. So she uses the phrase, it's not the end of the world, which means you don't have to stop thinking that oh, I can't do anything. So it's not literally the end of the world, but we use this to say, to emphasize, like, it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing that can happen. You can do other things. You can achieve things. So don't think that your life is over just because your child is disabled, that your child's life is over because they can't do anything. No, they can do a lot of things. So she believes that it's very important for her to showcase, to showcase something just means to show, to highlight it, to make sure everybody sees it, So she wants to show the world that even a person who has, some people consider cerebral palsy a very, big disability. Even with something like that, you don't have to give up. You can succeed and do things in life. So she says there is so much that a child with disabilities can end up doing. So end up doing means, over time, they're going to be able to do a lot of things given the right resources. So as long as you have the right resources, the right support, then you will be able to achieve lots of things, even if you have a disability. Okay, good. We're going to have time now to discuss. Before we discuss this, does anybody have questions about the English, the language, any of the expressions, phrasal verbs, vocabulary?
I have one question.
Okay. Yeah.
Could you clarify, the different terms between disabled or handicapped?
Handicap. Yeah, so when you have a handicap, I mean, I don't know exactly if I know the technical term. So sometimes when you have different terms, they might be used differently, like in an actual medical setting. So I don't want to give you misinformation. But in general speaking, just in everyday speaking, so like we call that like a layperson, somebody who's not a professional using the terms in a professional way. A disability and a handicap are basically the same thing. So, that's how people generally understand them. But it really depends on what type of handicap or disability you have. So like I mentioned before, you could have a disability in terms of learning, in terms of a physical disability, and usually handicap, you would talk about that more with physical, like you have a handicap like your leg, something's wrong with your leg, something's wrong with your arms, something like that. So a physical handicap, but a disability could be in anything in terms of the mind or your physical body, the brain, if you have a portion of your brain. Like I was just watching this documentary where this lady, she has some kind of thing that's happening in her brain where she doesn't, the part of her brain doesn't, the part of the brain that is used to identify people's faces. So like you and I, normally, a normal brain, you can identify people's faces that you've seen before very quickly. Well, she can't. She can't recognize people's faces. She can't distinguish them. So that's part of her brain. So you could say it's a disability in the sense that her brain's not working, but it's also a handicap in the sense that she doesn't have that ability to do it. So in just everyday speaking, it's basically the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So when you see it, you just when you're reading it, you can understand what it means related to the context. Also, handicap is used for other things too, not just to talk about a disability. So if you're talking about like horse racing or something like that, and gambling, they give the horse a handicap, which means like points. So it's totally a different thing, but it's the same word used. So, and also in other sports like golf or tennis or something, when a player is playing against somebody better, then they get a handicap, which means they get some extra points to try to make it fair. Yeah. So two different meanings there, but yeah. And in the United States, maybe you've also, since you're living in the United States, you might have seen handicapped parking, for example.
Yes.
So yes. So if you see that, I'll show people what it looks like here. So in the United States, if you go to a store and you have a parking lot, you'll see something like this. And this is a parking space that's reserved for handicapped people, and you have to have a special permit that says that, to verify that you really are handicapped, and you have to show that in your car. So it would include people like who have cerebral palsy, or people who have some other kinds of handicaps or disabilities in terms of physically, like you can't walk very well or something like that. So it wouldn't be a physical disability like if you you can't recognize faces. You wouldn't be able to use that space. So, Yeah, and if you're in the United States and you park here, you can get a really big fine, like a couple $100. So if you're in the United States, don't ever park in the handicapped parking space, because if you get a ticket, you may not get a ticket, but if you get one, it will be for a lot of money. So, yeah. Okay, great. Any other questions about the language? Nope. Okay. Amparo, why don't we start with you? Just did this article strike you? Why did you want to read this? I'm just wondering.
Because here, in the period, with the same president, we have another vice president in the period before.
Yeah.
And he was disabled. He was in a wheelchair because it was in the middle of a shooting. And after that, and after that, he wasn't able to walk. And he, because of his condition, he established a new law that oblige every single company to include people with disabled people. I think it is 5% or 2% of the every company have to have. So that is an opportunity that people before didn't have. When said no, I cannot work because of this or because that. But sometimes yes, they don't have any disability, mental disability or something that just because of they are lame or something. They were in just it was a ban, but nowadays it had been a good solution here because there were a lot of people that they are able to do something, or for example, or do a small work, partial part-time, but it's okay. They feel that they are included in the society, and I think that it's a good example.
Yeah, when you just said that, I looked up. I know there are some U.S. presidents who've had different types of disabilities, and I didn't realize there were so many. But when you look at the list, they go from
mental disease.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Well, that was Abraham Lincoln, and he had depression apparently. So that was considered. I don't know if they were treating it back then or how they were thinking about it, but it goes from something simple like hearing impairment. Bill Clinton had that apparently, where you have to wear a hearing aid, but to more severe things like chronic pain, learning disabilities, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt was one of our presidents. He was in a wheelchair because he had polio when he was younger, so he actually was in a wheelchair. So yeah, it doesn't stop you from even becoming president of the United States. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Let's see, Rafa.
Yep.
What about in Spain when people have disabilities? Do they get help? One of the things that happens here in the United States is you do get help for disabilities, and even if you have an accident, like on the job, and then you can no longer work for some reason, you get what's called disability payments, so that you can receive money from the government, so you can still live if you can't perform your job anymore, for example. What about in Spain? People with disabilities, are they accepted and kind of brought into the workforce or not?
It depends, but when you have an injury or an accident at your work, there are a social security health system that even though you are with disability, you have your pay for all the time that you need until your retirement, and you have the same payment for this reason, even though you are at home or you can do your job of you don't go to your job anymore, you have your payment for the whole period of your life until the retirement. This is a good news. And also, if you there are an institution that support people who is blind or have another disabilities is called 11, and they have a kind of different lotteries, and many people buy this lottery every day and every week, and this money is going to support any person with disabilities, blind or paralysis or different ideas. I think right now we are also assisting many devices and many technology that help them in different issues. But the security social system, health system here, and also this institution called 11, they give support to every disability able man.
Disabled person, yeah.
Disabled person.
Yeah, what I'm showing on my screen right now is just the U.S. government site that is about Americans with disabilities, and there was an act, and I guess it's 25 years old now, so it was a law where people were fighting for more equality. So removing the barriers and empowering people. So before, it was much more difficult for people with disabilities or disabled people to get jobs, to work in the workforce, that type of thing, even to get around. So nowadays, for example, one of the things, a building, if you're going to build a new building, you have to make sure you have access for wheelchairs, things like that, so that people who have wheelchairs or have difficulty walking, they don't have to just try to go up the steps, which they can't do in a wheelchair. So those types of things have been happening over the last 25 years to build awareness, educate people, and then also make it more accessible, we say, for people with Americans with disabilities. Sergio, what about in Brazil? How people who have disabilities, are they encouraged to find work and things like that, or not?
Yes. The same as Amp said.
Okay.
There's a law here that support people with disability, and yes, has a percentage that the companies has to hire these people. I think I have a question.
Yeah.
Here, when you are talking about like govern support people, like have something maybe from like born with
a disability. Yeah.
Or maybe some like during their job.
Yes.
They got some accident, something like that.
Yeah.
And here in Brazil, I'm not now, I think, but in the past, I don't know, maybe some years ago, has lots frauds about people like create or like pretend like, oh, I had some disability and I wanna
be supported. That happens here too. Yes. And
I was just, how can I be so creative?
Yes, unfortunately that does happen here too, because the government is willing to pay people money, if they become disabled for whatever reason. Some people try to take advantage of that system and lie, basically, Yeah. So that happens here as well. Yeah. Okay, guys, good article. Thanks, Amparo, for sending it to me. If anybody else wants to send me articles, I'm happy to include them in the lessons, and this is a good one. I also put a link to the microfinancing, because that's a whole other interesting topic as well, and what's happening in Africa and how people are starting their own businesses with small loans and things. So some people think that's really important for Africa. So, okay, thanks guys for coming. I'll see you, I think I have some classes not tomorrow because I'm going skiing, but on Sunday. So maybe I'll see you on Sunday. If not, have a good weekend. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy your skiing.
Bye. Thank